Stegosaurus. Currently the largest herbivore in Evrima. Quite possibly the strongest animal currently in the game. Hated by many, loved by few, the Stegosaurus is often viewed as a difficult grow. As it well should be, considering how difficult they are to hunt. Stego, being slow and weak as a baby, is not really equipped for the fast-paced center environment. They are better suited to live far from the hotspots, deep in the depths of Spiro, where no carnivore dares trod for fear of facing starvation. Which is why, naturally, I decided that my Stego should spend her entire life in the hottest spot on the entire map. I went into this challenge with certain expectations, not the least of which being my eventual desire to rage quit the game. Much like my previous center challenges, this one comes with specific rules and boundaries. 1. As always, I must remain solo throughout my growth. 2. I must stay within my boundaries in center. For Stego, these boundaries are just a little bit wider than those of my Serato, simply to ensure there's enough pumpkins to prevent loss of diet or starvation. And 3. No AFK growing. I began my challenge on NA1 during the height of the lag spikes. I had hoped that they would not cause too many issues, but I very quickly realized how bad it had become. And of course, we've got to get obnoxious ping spikes, because why not? Under attack already. But there's pumpkins right there, so maybe. At the very least. What was that? Is that a frog? Sir. Oh. And I'm taking damage. Cool. Okay. Wow. This is basically impossible. Thought that man was gonna eat me. I'm gonna just eat my pumpkin. You know, at least some Stegos are friendly. I can't even really fight back at this point because the freaking ping is just so ridiculous. Oh, we got a dino over there. I'm gonna just grab my pumpkin and say screw it. Oh gosh. This is so bad. I can't even do this chat. Oh, yeah. This is not gonna work. I'm gonna have to do it on a- oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is ridiculous. What? How can you even expect to do anything on the servers? This is stupid. Ow. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is not gonna work. I can't even do this on officials. I honestly cannot. We're gonna have to figure something else out because I can't. It's impossible. Everything is pinging around so ridiculously that you can't even fight back. I don't even know. I don't know. This is just ridiculous. Completely unable to defend myself from attackers, I was forced to move off of the officials and onto an unofficial server. Unfortunately for me, the active non-grow offering unofficials are all EU-based servers, resulting in higher ping than I prefer. However, anything was better than the disaster currently running on officials at the moment, so I hopped on Asura 2. This server had no rules, so I decided it would likely offer the closest I could get to an official server. It wasn't long before I was spotted by a pair of adult Stegos. Over the years, I've gained a very healthy distrust of Stego players. I've been betrayed and killed too many times in the past to offer them the benefit of the doubt in most cases, and will generally give them a wide berth when I'm not actively hunting them as a raptor. Oh, I have been spotted. Shoot. No, please, just leave me be. Please just leave me alone. I don't want friends. I don't want friends. Go away. Nobody here. I'm gone. In this case, they happened to be friendly. However, per my self-imposed rules, I could not join them, and I continued on alone. In the main part of Center, there is a total of 1 safe drinking spot. By now, most of the player base is aware of it, and therefore it is often occupied by carnivores. As a small and extremely vulnerable stegling, I decided to take my chances drinking elsewhere until I got a bit bigger, and at the very least couldn't be flattened by a passing raptor. Knowing Center River, there's a good chance of dinos existing in any major stretch of it, but some areas are more populated than others. The stretch by the cliffs is most often used as a highway of sorts. Dinos pass through, but seldom really hang around unless there's food on the shore. I decided to take my chances drinking there. I was rewarded with a few bite marks, but nothing serious or life-threatening. I would heal quickly, as long as nothing tracked my blood trail. As a juvenile, I found myself targeted by even the smallest of carnivores. A pack of Troodons noticed me traveling from one side of the area to the other, and decided to make an attempt on my life. Silly children. Sir. How about you don't do that? Oh dear. My goodness. Wowza. Okay. You guys done? You guys done, or are you coming for me? Okay. Alright. As vulnerable as baby Stego is, as populated as Center appears to be at any one time, as much as I was constantly moving around, I had seen shockingly few dangers up to this point. Before long, I knew I would be capable of handling most everything Center could throw at me. By the time I was 1.9 kilograms in weight, I lost the fear that had previously driven me. Opposite to Dino, on Stego, the bigger I got, the fewer carnivores who dared to hunt me. So when I heard a carno running up behind me, I was actually excited to finally have something to do aside from walking in circles. Oh, I missed. Yeah, huh? That's what I thought. You gonna charge me? Please do. Gonna do it again? No? Not a good plan, huh? Feels pretty painful getting hit by a freaking baby Stego. Got a little lag. Pretty typical. Hit him again. Just gotta keep my head out of the way. Yeah. Best back off, buddy. As I began to heal my bleed, it was time for water again. Oh, well. Perhaps I should have double-checked how far into the shallows I was. Karma, I guess. I'm too slow to get out of here. Come on. Come on. And of course I did. I spawned on the wrong side. Cool. Well, round 3 began where the previous 2 had done, on the wrong side of the river. I managed to cross safely by the skin of my teeth, and my 3rd attempt to grow began. Oh, somehow we managed to cross, barely. Wow. Look at this tough guy. Oh my. Whew. Shut up. Pick on somebody else. I didn't get far into my 3rd growth before the unexpected, but not unappreciated, happened. A hotfix addressing the lag on officials was sent out. This, though, required all dinos on both officials and unofficials to be wiped. My 3rd stego did not die, but she also did not reach adulthood, lost in the void of playing a beta game. Back on official servers, my 4th life began. After my previous attempts, I felt sure this would be the one. So far, stego growth was shaping up to be incredibly easy, even in center. But perhaps that would change back on officials, where hackers run wild, returning within hours of each ban, leaving chaos in their wake. The feel of officials was immediately higher pressure. Although Spiro was a rule-free server, unofficials in general tend to be a bit more relaxed. I hopped on NA1 once again, prepared for the pain that comes with official servers. I got lucky and managed to get my pumpkins and begin my latest growth cycle. Before long, I started getting thirsty. I knew I should wait until it was more necessary, but when there's nothing to do but eat, drink, and walk at my fragile age, I decided to take the risk. I wasn't horribly surprised when a raptor attacked when I began to drink. This was becoming a trend at the shallow spot, one that I had anticipated from the beginning of the challenge. This raptor was small though, and it didn't take much to encourage him to back off. There's no rest for the stegling on officials though, and I was soon attacked by a pair of young carnos before my bleed had fully healed from the raptor. They were large enough to stun me, but not knock me senseless, so I knew I needed to play the fight carefully, or they'd wear me down with charges. Carefully aimed tail swings could hit them as they charged by, as long as they didn't hit me broadside to cause a stun. Considering my options and not wanting to remain wholly exposed in the open in case anything else happened by, I decided to take advantage of my closeness to the forest. A large tree would make charging more difficult for the carnos, and would prevent them from surrounding me, as I could only swing in one direction at a time. The fight went on for a minute before things got weird. One of the young Carnos called for backup, apparently deciding the fight was taking too long. A moment later, though, the pair bolted. The fight had been going fine for them, so I was confused that they would both back off without having taken another hit. Moments after they vanished into the darkness, I heard big footsteps headed my way. A fresh adult Carno ran by, headed in the direction the adolescents had gone. The first was fast, but with how slow my stego usually moves, everything else looked fast. But then the second rocketed past in the forest, visible for only a split second, as he passed his friend and vanished again. Another second, and the third flew by without sparing me a second thought. Now I definitely knew I was on officials again. Earlier in my growth, I had been hidden momentarily in a bush, when 3 Carnos appeared quite suddenly, knocking me over and following me out of the bush before teabagging and running away. I was quite convinced in the moment that they had used ESP to find me, but without evidence, I couldn't really be sure. Unfortunately, my recording software had also stopped working, so I was unable to go back and check. But now, here they were again, I was quite sure, those same 3 Carnos. Very visibly hacking this time. And they were after the poor baby Carnos that had been attempting to hunt me. Well, this was a first. Was this a save? Was I really just potentially saved by speed hackers instead of killed by them? Regardless, I wasn't going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I hadn't died, and the Carnos hadn't targeted me as they passed by. I reported the hackers in the official Discord, and then continued on my way. On any other day, a sighting like this one would have had me logging off to protect my growth. But after 2 strange encounters of the Carno kind, I had a gut feeling these 3 weren't interested in killing a baby stego. An hour and some bulk later, I was in a bind. While making my way toward the water, I heard chatty serratos nearby. I raced into the nearest bush, just as the trio crested the hill behind me. I had no idea if they'd seen me or not, but I certainly wasn't large enough to take on 3. 1, sure. Maybe 2 if I was lucky and they didn't have much bile. But 3 was a death sentence. Nearby was an entire herd of presumably friendly stegos and tenos. But I couldn't call out to them for help. That would break the challenge rules. I could only hold my breath and hope that I wasn't spotted. Please don't run into me. My heart is racing right now. Crisis averted. The group were too focused on the herd to spot the smallish solo stego standing beside them in the foliage. Life went on. I was getting larger by the hour, and with each passing growth tick, the dangers to my safety decreased. Before long, I would have nothing to fear but other stegos, and I'd seen very few of them out and about. Even an entire pack of serratos simply stood by while I passed them in the night now. I was large and formidable, with a tail swing that could kill and a health pool to match. Just not worth the risk. But my luck couldn't hold forever. Center is a notorious stomping ground for KOS stegos. As I left the water for the 100th time, an adult called nearby. Much too close for comfort. Worse, there was an adult raptor sizing me up at the same time. If the stego was friendly, then all would be fine. But if it was not and the raptor attacked, or I swung and made noise, my position would be blown. I got tremendously lucky. The stego didn't see me, and the raptor either lost me in the bushes or decided that the fight wasn't worth his effort. My luck didn't hold for long. As the sun rose, I turned my head and spotted the stego from before in the distance. This time, though, it saw me too. There's not many places to hide in Center. Sure, bushes are fine, but when you're being chased across an open field, there's only so many places you could have gone if you vanished from sight at any point. With one eye on the threat and my sub-stego stamina, I attempted to increase the distance. If I've learned anything from the Isle over the years, it's that anyone who continues following when you've clearly seen them but chosen to flee is up to no good. Friendlies tend to stop after a few steps. It's not worth wasting their stamina when someone clearly doesn't want to be friends.
She's still coming.
I managed to ditch them with my superior sub-stego speed and stamina, but I could also hear more adult stegos calling in the distance, and decided I'd best get a drink before heading toward the fields again. This was a mistake. I should have known better, especially since the potential KOS steg that had chased me halfway across Center had last been seen in the direction of the shallows. But who knows? Maybe I was wrong about the guy and they were just looking for a friend. It was literal seconds after I started drinking that I heard the running steps headed my way. Oh, so that's how it was gonna be then. Mix packing KOS steg. Alright, fair enough.
He's after me. Of course he's working with dinos.
My stamina had been partly wasted in attempting to fight the dinos that attacked first. But not so much that I couldn't outrun Fatty McFatface. With a momentary pause to smack him upside the head for his misbehavior, I took off. He could chase me all he wanted. He was too fat and slow to ever catch me. We could run circles around Center for the next hour if he was that desperate to kill me.
Regain as much stamina as possible. Let him waste his.
Of course, it wouldn't come to that. He turned back, then paused to attempt to regain some stamina. Perhaps hoping I would fall for the ruse and stop moving away, or try to chat at him. I simply took the opportunity to gain even more ground on him. Stamina low, but far enough away that he would have to run full tilt through at least a bar and a half of stamina himself to catch me, I decided to say flog. I wasn't going to take the risk. My growth continued as slowly as ever when I logged back on. I could taste my victory already as I finally reached the point where I no longer had to fear the water. Things get weird when you're a passive stego sometimes. I'm not really one to attack things that get too close when I'm alone, unless they attack first and make it clear they intend to kill me. It has been a while since I last played for any length as a stego, and I had quickly forgotten how babies and subs of all species tend to flock to them when they know they're not going to be attacked. Throughout this growth, I had been surrounded by a pack of baby carnos, followed by several small raptors, and now a sub-cerrado was feeling way too comfortable. Oh well. It's the price I pay for being a passive stego, I suppose.
This guy is way too trusting. He needs to stop it. I could swing and kill him instantly. I won't, because I'm not toxic, but I could.
By 80% growth, I was dead bored. When all you can do is walk around a small section of the map, eat pumpkins, and drink water, the game begins to feel incredibly stale. I kept hoping for a large raptor pack to show up. Some gutsy cerrados even. I'd practiced stego versus stego fights before this challenge just in case, but never bigger stego versus slightly smaller. And I'll be honest, I died in about 70% of the practice fights, even when we were on an even playing field. But at this point, I hadn't even seen another stego in an hour or more. Truth be told, I had lost all track of time. How long had I been here? Why am I still growing? Why haven't I just called it a day yet? I'm basically grown. There's nothing around to even try to kill me. What's the point? 93%. I spotted other stegos. I didn't fear them. They were talking in the chat long before they spotted me, so I knew they were quite friendly. Only one was grown as well, and I was large enough now that I could probably fight back if necessary. It wasn't necessary. They said hello in the chat and we headed our separate ways while I waited out my last 5% of growth. Another loop around center. An adult Troodon decided to tickle my side. Unfortunately for him, he didn't get far in his attack. A baby Carno bit me in an attempt to die. When I didn't swing, he fed himself to the dinos. I could feel myself slowly losing my mind. All sanity drifting away like dust on the wind. And then, on my 6,000th loop around center, I checked my growth for the final time. Oh, finally. My goodness. So boring. That last 25% was just about the most boring thing ever. I'll be honest, I expected a lot worse for the Stego challenge. Compared to Dino, Stego Center challenge was an absolute breeze. If anything, I'd actually say that, barring speed hackers, Center Stego is quite a viable growth strategy. So long as you don't mind growing more slowly than you would with a perfect diet anyway. Either way, in the end, I did what must be done. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like and comment on the video to appease the algorithm. If you're new around here, please consider subscribing for more content just like this. See you in the next one!